A lot of time is spent here at Nintendo Prime dissecting little tidbits of news, dealing with game announcements, and coming up with our own ideas and criticisms for how Nintendo can be just a little bit better. However, in a market with two other major platform makers, I think it's also important that these platform holders learn from each other to help push each system to ultimately become the best version of itself. The Nintendo Switch is, so far, a resounding success story, but it could possibly be even better if it learns some valuable lessons from the market leaders, and Nintendo as a company on the whole may want to take some notes. For starters, how PlayStation and Xbox both handle everything through a universal account system is a must. It's 2017, and on Switch, I am still sharing friend codes. Yes, friend codes, something even the Wii U didn't have. While there is no doubt today the overall Nintendo account system appears to be right in line with the universal account systems of their competitors, they don't make it easy to find your friends, and that's something that needs to be addressed. Adding on to that, they could enable cloud saving through these accounts, game transfers, multiple systems per account, and more. Thankfully, Nintendo does allow you to easily change your gamer handle, but that seems like something I would be willing to sacrifice to be rid of friend codes forever. Another aspect that I feel PlayStation and Xbox got right is the retro games as a service. In years past, I felt the PlayStation Now service idea was too far ahead of its time, and in some ways, I still think it is. While Sony was on the right path, I think Nintendo could launch a virtual console service on Switch that combines the execution of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. For starters, they could allow you to stream their classic games for a set price per month from a remote server cluster somewhere just like Sony, but then also allow you to download the games when they need to take the system on the go. It's the best of both worlds without a compromise, one way or the other. Xbox One currently provides the download method, while PlayStation 4 offers the game streaming. Take them both, throw them in a single service for Virtual Console for, say, $10 a month, with a constantly evolving library, and Nintendo may be onto a gold mine that is even bigger than the individual game sales they currently achieve through Virtual Console offerings on 3DS and Wii U. I could talk about voice chat here too, but that point almost speaks for itself. It's not that great through the app. Forget the inconvenience of having to use the app itself just doesn't work well for the service. I'll leave that one for you guys to debate about in the comments below. One lesson I do want Nintendo to take away from Sony overall is one that I feel is vitally important, and even one that Microsoft forgot with the Xbox One. Nintendo has some of the greatest fans in the world, but Nintendo seems to always do its best to break up the crowd system to system. Innovation is fantastic. Change can be great too, but change for the sake of change isn't good. For every Wii, there seems to be a Wii U. Nintendo needs to pick the sort of audience they want and then consistently deliver the platforms that audience desires while adding new ideas on top. As an example, the PlayStation 4 is by and large a more powerful system than the PlayStation 3. That was the hook. But now, it's the only console platform of the three to have full VR support. The lesson is that you can still satisfy your existing customers while expanding your base with new ideas. Now that the Switch has truly brought Nintendo back into the console selling game in a successful manner, Nintendo needs to hold on to it. Their next system should be able to deliver the base functionality and controller options that the current Switch does, but that doesn't mean it can't do more. And I don't mean just adding a shoulder button or two like with the SNES back in the day, but something more bold than that. What that idea is, I don't know. But radically shifting the sands generation to generations alienates consumers and creates a fear of inconsistency. Let's assume Nintendo somehow wins back third-party support this generation. If the next generation they make some drastic left turn that forgets how they were successful with the Switch in the first place, they ruin all the goodwill built up with third parties and their own consumers. Sometimes this will work out in the end, like with the Wii. But what sounds better? The PlayStation brand, who has been a market leader 3 of the last 4 generations, or Nintendo, who was the market leader once and not even close the rest of the time since the PlayStation launched. In fact, 2 of the last 4 generations for Nintendo were the worst selling generations ever created. It's a tough lesson that involves some swallowing of pride. Nintendo has an odd ability to throw away everything they build up, so let's hope they learn from Sony and don't do that moving forward. A healthy Nintendo that reacts well to the market while keeping their current install base in mind on their new technology is the type of Nintendo that can stay consistently in the conversation among the best-selling systems in each generation. And that's going to wrap up my thoughts on what Nintendo can still learn from their competitors. Is there more lessons to be had? I am sure there are, and I look forward to seeing what crazy ideas and lessons you think Nintendo could learn from their competitors that I didn't mention in the comments below. And as always, I am Nathaniel Rumpeljantz from Nintendo Prime. If you like this video, you know what to do, and if you dislike that video, hit that dislike button, subscribe for more, and hey, if you love what we do here, why don't you check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. For just $1 a month, you get access to Patreon exclusive updates, and for $5 a month, you get early access to our podcast, and for $20 a month, if you're crazy enough, you actually will be personally invited by me to be on an episode of the Nintendo Prime podcast. That being said, folks, I will see you in the next one.